Okay, you guys, I think I'll just get started so we can take advantage of having Anna Zeppieri with us. So quickly, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is James Fortney, and I'm Associate Professor teaching of Italian at the University of Southern California. I'm also the Director of the Italian Basic Language Program. I'd like to thank I would like to thank the Istituto Italiano di Cultura of Los Angeles and also the collaborators from CSULB, UCLA, and also Chapman. I really just want to share with you guys for a moment that poster that everybody's seen, and I want to talk to you just for a couple of seconds about this series, which I'm really happy that we were able to organize with the Instituto and the collaborators from the various universities. So let me just go ahead here and pull this up. So one second. All right. All right, it'll just be one moment. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay, so you know, when Leonilde from the Istituto, she's the attaché of the Istituto Italiano di Cultura of Los Angeles, when we began to talk a little bit this summer, I knew right away that we stumbled on an idea that would really benefit our students. So we came up with this idea, ITAL Career Talks, and as it says here on the poster, a series of conversations between professionals in various fields and university students of Italian. The reason why I knew right away that this would be an amazing opportunity is that I myself, am an American who studied Italian in the United States. And, I remember falling in love with the language, falling in love with the culture, and not really knowing how to sort of translate that love for the language and the culture to my professional career, right? And I know not everybody wants to be a professor of the language, right? Not everybody wants to teach the language, but I'm sure that a lot of the people joining us tonight are thinking these same things. How can I translate this love for the language, this love for the culture into my future? And so we designed this series with that in mind to share with you guys some possibilities. And it was Leonilde's idea to begin by talking about the universities because there are so many opportunities, as you guys will see. There's so many opportunities in the university system in Italy that we're just not aware of as Americans. And so we're really happy to have Anna Zeppieri here with us tonight. She's the head of education office from the Consulate General of Italy in San Francisco. And besides all of that, I just wanted to say a couple of other things. First of all, our club president from USC, so our Italian club is called COSI, Campus Organization for Students of Italian. She's here tonight, and she organized an after event for anybody who's involved with their clubs at the various universities. So she's going to share in the chat box. She's going to share the Zoom link so you guys can all kind of connect afterwards. Which also the collaborators and I will be doing the same thing. And she's got a lot of things she wants to talk to you guys about, and in the hope that maybe you guys will work on projects together as well in the future. So again, the key here is all about collaboration. Now, regarding the Q&A, so the way this will work then is Anna Zeppieri, she will talk for about 35, 40 minutes. If any of you guys have any questions at all, feel free to share them in the chat box, all right? And then after Anna completes her presentation, you guys can either ask questions or I will summarize the questions that are in the chat box. So there are two different ways to ask questions during the event, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And Anna, you can take it away.
Okay, so I just want to say a few words about this conversation and also about the Institute. As James said, we thought it could be very useful for all the students that are studying Italian at universities to have a real conversation with professionals, so to explore the different paths that that may open up for them. And yeah, I was saying that I know Anna's presentation will illustrate, will show a lot of opportunities and many information about Italian higher education system. But I want to, I know that there is very good turnout today. There are many students and teachers connected with us today. I want to invite all of them to take advantage also of the opportunities of the initiatives organized by the Italian Cultural Institutes in the US. In this difficult time for all of us, we shifted all our programs online, and we as many shifted all our programs online. And I believe it represents also an opportunity for students to be closer to us, especially in a city like Los Angeles, where it's very difficult to move from one part to another. And I invite all of them to follow what we are doing, especially this month. I just want to mention here that next week, the 20th edition of Italian Language Week will start, which is the main event dedicated to the Italian language in the world. We just started like a few hours ago with a very interesting conversation with Beppe Severnini. I'm sure most of you know him. He's one of the most famous journalists and writers in Italy, who presented his latest book, Neo Italians, translated by Anthony Sugar, which I believe Clorinda Donato knows very well. And so please connect to our website. You will see next week, you will find a lot of events, IIC Los Angeles.esteri.it. We have a YouTube channel also. We are on Instagram, on Facebook. Next week, we will, just to mention other two initiatives that we are organizing. We are hosting Antonio Iannotta, who from University of San Diego, who will speak about the theme of Italian Language Week, which is Italian between word and image, graffiti, illustration, comic books. And we will host a talk by Federico Rampini, who is correspondent from the paper La Repubblica and Italian correspondent at the White House. So please follow us, and I leave the floor to Anna now. I'm looking forward to her talk. Thank you all for attending.
Okay, great. And good evening, everybody. And thank you, the Cultural Institute in Los Angeles, the Italian Cultural Institute in Los Angeles, USC, CSULB, UCLA, and Chapman for to organize this event. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and also an honor to be with you. And I have only 40 minutes, so I have to start as soon as possible. So let's start. I think you are able to see my presentation. Okay, great, thank you. So the higher education system in Italy, how it works. So pre-university education, 5 years elementary school, 3-year middle school, so it's quite similar to the university, to the US. Then in the high school, we have 5 years and not 4 years. What does it mean? Well, just that we have 1 year of general education more than here in the US. But then the first huge difference is in the bachelor, because you have 4 years for a bachelor, while here we have only 3 years for the bachelor. What does it mean? Well, just that you have a major, a minor, and general education all in the 4 years, while in Italy we only have one major where you are focused to, and we miss all the general education. So this is why we have only 3 years and not 4. But again, we have 1 more year in general education in the high school, so it's quite the same. We have just a few exceptions. If you are willing to attend law studies, education studies, or medicine studies, you are not going to have a bachelor, while you are going to have a process that lasts for 5 years for law or education and 6 years for medicine, so that you get a bachelor plus master altogether. At the end of the bachelor, so if you are willing to do something different from law, education, and medicine, at the end of the 3 year of the bachelor, you are able to go to find a job, or if you are willing to continue your studies, you may get the possibility to enroll to get a master. As in the US, we have 2-year master, a 2-year master program. That is this one. Also, you may choose something like is very close to your certificate programs. You in the US usually have certificate programs starting at the end of the high school, while in Italy we only have a certificate program at the end of the bachelor or at the end of the master. Please be careful. The name of the certificate programs is specializing master, but it's not your US master. The US master is this 2 years program that is called Laurea Magistrale in Italy. At the end of the Laurea Magistrale, AG master, or at the end of your unique path for law, education, and medicine, the final step could be to get a PhD. The length of the PhD is 3 or 4 years, and you have 6 years only for medicine if you are willing to specialize in a specific path. So this is all the education system. And I can tell you, well, that's enough, bye-bye, I'm closed. But I want to give you more info about it. So let's continue. How does it work, the Italian grading and the credit system when you are enrolled in a university? First of all, we have exams like here in the US. The main difference is that we may have either written or oral examination, while here in the US, you only have a written examination. In Italy, it depends on the exam, it depends on the subject, it depends on the professor. You may have written and or oral examination. And what is the grading system? Well, here in the US, you have a grading system that spans from 1 through 10, from 1 to 100, while in Italy, we have a grading system that spans from 1 to 30. And the minimum to pass the exam is 18. That should be 6 over 10. The highest mark is 30 over 30 plus laude, and it should be your A+. So you pass the exam if you have a grade that is greater than equal or greater than 18, and if you have a lower grade, it means that you have to repeat the exam. How do we calculate our GPA, the final GPA? Well, the final GPA is on a scale of 11, just to have things a bit more difficult, I would say. So the idea is that you calculate all the GPA for all your exams. So you add all your marks and divide it by the number of the attended exams. Then you may add a specific point that you receive for your final thesis. Because in Italy, at the end of the bachelor and at the end of the master, we have a final thesis. Once you have all this info, so the mean of your exams plus the mark for the final thesis, you have to multiply it by 11, so that at the end you have a value that spans from 66 up to 110. So for instance, if you have a mean that is close to 9 over 10, or that is close to 27 over 30, it means that you have a final mark that is 99 over 110. Then you add the points that you get for your thesis, that may be 6, 5, 10, it depends. And then you have your final mark. So, and the highest mark is again 110 over 110 plus laude. That means you're with high distinction or with honor for here in the US. Every time you pass an exam, you also acquire credits, and the system for the credit is the same as here in the US. So at the end of your bachelor or at the end of your master, you have a final mark, that is your GPA, plus a number of credits that are that's the total package of credits that you have for all your studies. Why study in Italy? I would say that, for instance, because of the excellence in research, science, and creativity. I would say that you may be willing to study in Italy because of the outstanding educational system. I would say that you may be willing to study in Italy because we have a wide offer of courses that are also taught in English. I would say that you may be willing to study in English, to study in Italy, because we have an extreme competitive tuition fees. And also, if you are studying Italian here in the US, I would tell you, let's start your Italian language, let's start using your Italian language skills. Let's start practicing, either studying and applying for a degree entirely taught in Italian, or just because you are living in Italy. So I think that it's important to use all your skills that you are able to acquire here in the US. When I tell you about excellence, I can tell you that there are several degrees, there are several subjects in which the Italian universities are the best in the world. So just to give you a few examples, if we have a look at the QS World Universities ranking by subject 2020, we have that La Sapienza University in Rome is the second worldwide for classic and ancient history. The Polytechnic of Milan is the 6th worldwide in art and design. The Polytechnic of Milan is also 7th for engineering in civil studies. The University of Bocconi is 7th for business. Again, Polytechnic for architecture is 7th, archaeology, La Sapienza is 8th, and then I may continue. And we have, again, engineering, mechanical, and for the Polytechnic of Milan. The Bocconi University is the 16th for economics studies and for accounting studies. We are strong in pharmacy and pharmacology as well, with the University of Studies in Milan. We are strong in engineering in the sector of mineral and mining with the Polytechnic of Turin, in astronomy with La Sapienza, in politics with the University of Florence, in anatomy with the University of Padua, and so on. So I may tell you that if you are looking in something that is the excellence, you may have a look at the Italian university as well, and not all. And I can tell you that you don't have to stop looking just at the American universities. When I tell you that you may have a look at the Italian universities, I can tell you that it's straightforward for you to have useful info directly from the university website. So if you have a look at the specific page for international students at the university web pages, you are able to find everything you are looking for. So, for instance, if we are willing to find something for the University of Bologna, This is the web page for the international students, where you have to info about the degree programs, about the master programs, about the PhD, the specialization schools, and also how to enroll, how does it work for tuition fees, for exemption, and so on. This one is the web page for the University of Florence. Again, you have info about programs, you have info about how does it work for the Italian language test, and I'm speaking about it later on, how to submit the admission application, and so on. This one is the start page for the Polytechnic of Milan. Again, info for the undergraduate studies, for postgraduate studies, for PhD, and again, info for the programs, for the procedure, fees, scholarships, and so on. This one is from La Sapienza in Rome. Again, how does it work for the international admission? How does it work for the preselections, for scholarships, living in Rome, and so on. This one is something that you don't find in the QS worldwide ranking system, because it's the web page for the Motor Vehicle University of Emilia-Romagna, that is a consortium of all the universities based in Emilia-Romagna and the main automotive and industries that are there, that are able to give you a Master of Excellence. They started just a couple of years ago, and you are not able to find this one on the QS only because the QS is able to give you info about specific universities and not about consortium of universities. But if you're willing to continue your studies and you are really focused on motor vehicle, I strongly suggest you to look for MUNER, Motor Vehicle Universities of Emilia-Romagna. And least but not last, if you are willing to look for private universities as well, we have Bocconi, that is one of the best in the economical studies. And again, also they have an international student webpage with all the info to start your journey in Italy. I told you that one of the big points to be willing to study in Italy is tuition fees. Why? When I came here in California almost 3 years ago, I was told that if something is cheap, it means that it's something that is of less value. So if I just tell you that we have cheap tuition fees in Italy, you may think, well, it just means that you are showing us something that is less value. While the idea is that students, both national students, both students coming from Italy, but also students from worldwide, are able to pay cheap tuition fees only because all the European university system is mostly based on public funding. So because of this, the students are able to receive excellent quality for very low or nothing at all tuition and fees. And Italy offers a huge number of international master programs, even though entirely in English, that you can apply to. Also, you may receive financial aid and scholarships. Again, the European higher educational institution welcome non-EU students in Europe, and American students can apply for scholarships or funding almost everywhere. And for instance, if you're looking at the university in Italy, you have to consider that in Italy scholarships are offered by the Italian government, both at national level and at regional level, and by the Italian universities themselves. Let's have a look add something, because I'm just talking, but I'm not giving you numbers. And I think that now I have to give you numbers. So again, for instance, let's have a look at the University of Bologna. And let's have a look at the tuition fees for this year. Master degrees, the minimum that you are going to pay in tuition fees per year is 157 euros, while the maximum, it depends on the subject, and it may be 2,550 euros or 5,000 euros. So the amount of fees span through 157 up to 5,000, and it depends usually on the exemption that you may have because of your family income. So once you are willing to enroll to the university, you can submit your economic situation so that the university can decide which is the right amount you need to pay in order to study in their university. And usually you have to submit essentially documents that allow the university to verify income and assets of all members of your home family group. As I told you, you may have the chance to get study grants and scholarships. So again, at the University of Bologna, if you look at the international students pages, you are able to find info about Action 1 and 2 for international students, study grants for deserving students, grants for international students awarded by the Italian government, and also how to get exemption and incentives, how to receive paid tutoring activities, which are the university's grants, prizes, and subsidies, which may be prizes for graduate and PhD students, which may be international mobility grants, and so on. Plus, here in the US, you usually have the chance to get loans from banks in order to fill your studies. And in Italy as well, you are able to get honorem loan, ad honorem loan. So, for instance, the University of Bologna is in agreement with a specific Italian bank to give Italian and international students the possibility to apply for their loan. And this is just an example from one public university in Italy. You have the same in all the other universities. So, for instance, if you have a look at the Polytechnic of Milan, again, if you highlight the info regarding the master programs, you have specific sector for fees and scholarships. Regarding fees, the amount of the fee that non-European students resident in Italy have to pay range from about 900 euros to 4,000 euros per year, while non-EU students that are not resident in Italy that have to usually have to pay their full contribution of 4,000 euros. What does it mean, non-EU students resident in Italy? It means that at the end of the first year, you are residing in Italy since 1 year, so you are able to pay less than 4,000. Again, if you have a family income that allow you to have financial aid, anyway, you are going to pay less for tuition fees, and also the university is able to provide you help for housing and living. Also, you may have scholarships for merit-based scholarships. And also you may have other scholarships just given you by the region of Lombardy or directly by the EU system. Again, the same for La Sapienza in Rome. So American students have to pay something like 2,200 tuition fees for a year. But again, if their family income may allow them to have full exemption or partial exemption. And again, you may have the chance to win scholarship based on your GPA. If you are willing to go to the Motor Vehicle University of Emilia-Romagna, the maximum amount of fees is 3,000 for a year for the advanced automotive electronic engineering, while for all the other 6 masters, the maximum amount is 2,160 euros. And because this consortium of universities is based in Emilia-Romagna, the scholarships and funding opportunities are equal the one you find at the University of Bologna, for instance. If you are looking to a private university, an example is the Bocconi universities. The fees are higher because now we are talking of 13,000 per year. But again, you may have broad support, you may have opportunity. No, I don't like to talk to the one with disabilities because I hope you don't have disabilities. I hope you are safe. So you may have a partial support, you may have merit-based awards, you may have other financial aid opportunities, you may have loans and other opportunities as well. So again, if you have a look at the university website, you may receive all the info on the amount of tuition fees and how you may get scholarships and grants. Living costs. The overall living costs for students in Italy range between 700 and 1,000 euros per month. You may have you may consider that Milan and Rome are just a little more expensive because of the accommodation. What I suggest you is to look at the university website for housing, because you may have special housing and residencies that can be provided directly by the university, or they may have special agreement for housing for international students. So you have all the info in their website, and also if you are allowed to have exemption for your income, you also may be allowed to have exemption or a huge reduction in the amount of payment for the housing and for the living as well. For the University of Bologna, you have info for the housing, but also you have info for the canteens and places to eat and discounted catering services. And you also have info for and opportunities for sport in order to live and to experience the life in Italy, so that you may have discounts and special opportunities for sport, culture, transport, museums, and so on. It's the same for the other universities. So if you have a look at the Polytechnic of Milan, again, you have info on their residence hall. And you also have info for the public transportation and for all the offer that are provided for international students. If you have a look at the Sapienza University in Rome, again, you have info about the public transport, you have info about how to open a bank account, but also you may have info about how to have the chance to get special housing directly from the university, or you may also have the chance to have info on safe living in Rome. When I refer to safe, I'm not telling you that Rome is not safe. I'm just, probably safe is not the right word. What I'm saying is that if you're a student, I might suggest you not to look for a house in downtown or in Trastevere or near Piazza di Spagna and so on. So, or I must suggest you not to look at something like B&B or Airbnb or Booking and so on, because you are looking at a specific website for tourists, while it's important for you to look at a specific accommodation for students, and that can be provided in, for instance, through handbook that are provided and can be uploaded, that can be downloaded directly from the university website. Bocconi, as usual, also give you the chance to reside in one of their 8 residence halls, and you may apply to have reduced rate. You may apply, or you may have a full rate or admission housing. It depends on your family income. I was telling you that the courses in Italy may be taught in English or in Italian. If they are taught in English, you don't need to certify your knowledge of the Italian. While if you intend to enroll at degree courses that are entirely taught in English, well, you need to be tested for your Italian language competence. You don't need to be tested only if you have an Italian citizenship, or if you have already tested in the US, and you are allowed to be tested in the US thanks to the Italian Cultural Institute, where you may have specific tests based on level B2. What does it mean? Well, first of all, if you have a look at the Italian Cultural Institute in Los Angeles, and you go to culture and language, and then you go to certification, you have all the info about the test date that are available directly in Los Angeles, just to check your competence in the Italian language. And if you go to the Italian Cultural Institute in San Francisco, and you go directly to language certification, you have a specific page where you are able to find sample of testing, so that you may able to understand if your competence is enough in order to get a certification that must be of level B2. I can tell you that probably you are allowed to have this kind of certification at the end of the 3rd year, at the end of the 3rd semester of Italian studies in the universities, or at the beginning of your 4th year of studies of Italian here in the universities. Now, which are the steps to study in Italy? First of all, I think that you need to research your options. I can suggest you two different ways. The first one is to go to the Study in Italy website. When you go here to studyinitaly.esteri.it, you can choose the English language and you can choose the sector based on the research of options, so that you are able to find this page where you can submit, for instance, only the name of the city where you are willing to reside, or part and or the discipline you are willing to study. I highly suggest you to specify the program but I think that you are willing to close your bachelor here in the US, so that you may be willing to start your master degree in Italy. So you have to choose for the master programs here, and you may choose to look for Italian language taught courses or English language taught courses, or both of them here. And then you can start your search. Just to give you an example, I made a research for you on the website. So I just put the name of Milan here. I chose a graduate degree, that means a master degree, and I chose the English language, and all these are the courses that I found only in Milan. So they span from engineering, architecture, strategic communication, space engineering, mathematical, nuclear, management, design, chemical, electronic, design for the fashion, computer science, and then management, banking and finance, statistics, economic studies, international management, and so on. So there is a huge choice, biology, human resources, and so on. So there is a huge choice for you. The other option is to have a look at this website that is called studiareinitalia.it. And here on the left side, you have a specific sector, a specific section where you may have, you may look for courses. You have only to choose the name of the university or the hot word, so the name of the course you are willing to study. And again, I made a few search for you. So here, this is the web page of www.studiareinitalia.it. You may have a look here at the universities. Atenei means universities. Or if you're looking for something related to arts, music, and core, you may have a look here. So you just digit the name of the university, or just digit here the name of the course you are willing to, and here you find all the info of the university, and so that you may have a look directly to the specific university. And again, here lingua means language, so that you know if the courses are taught in English or in Italian, and so on. So once just a moment, please. So once you decide which course you are willing to apply and which university, you have to go to the university website, you have to look for the international student website, and you have to follow their instruction. Usually they require you an entry requirement that is the fact that you have a bachelor degree. Sometimes, not always, you are asked to have a minimum GPA. Another requirement is based on language, but as I told you, you don't need to show your English, your English skills if you come from the US, and you need to show the Italian language requirement only for Italian taught programs. But again, let me allow to highlight and underline you that it's really important that you follow a few Italian courses, Italian language courses here in the US before coming in Italy, so that you can experience entirely your staying, your living in Italy. Then you have to upload your bachelor transcript, your bachelor diploma. You may be allowed to upload your curriculum vitae. Sometimes you are asked letters of recommendation. So it's quite similar to the enrollment process, to the enrollment procedure that you have here in the US. Then you have to send the original transcript, and then you receive the info that you are pre-enrolled to the university. So you have to pay the initial fee, but also you have to start to look for your scholarships and grants. Then you have to go to the Consulate General of Italy, probably in Los Angeles if you reside there, because you have to apply for a study visa. Sometimes the university can ask you to submit a declaration of value or a certificate of comparability for your previous studies. I want to give you a few info about those two specific moments. So let's start for the study visa. You have to go to the Consulate General of Italy in Los Angeles website. You have to look for visas. The Italian name is Visti. You have to go to the English section of the website, and on the left side of the page, you find Italian National Visa for Study. You have all the info and all the list of documents you have to submit for in order to get a study visa. I think that the two main points that can be something tricky for you are points 7 and 8, the financial guarantee and the health insurance coverage. The financial guarantee is something that you have to show in order to prove, in order to demonstrate that you are able to live 1 year in Italy. So it means that you have to show that either you or your family have an income part and a bank account with at least 10,000 euros. The 8th point is the health insurance coverage. So if you think the health insurance coverage here in the US, you may be a little worried because you here pay a lot usually for the health insurance, while in Italy the health insurance coverage costs only a few hundred of euros for a year. So I think that you don't have specific problem for it. And point 9, proof of suitable lodging for the entire stay. So again, if the university is able to give you housing you don't have any problem at all, because you have to show them, you have to show to the consulate that you have a residence provided you directly by the university, health insurance, and then proof of suitable lodging is the 9th point. So if the university is able to give you a suitable lodging, you don't have any problem at all. While if you need to look for a suitable lodging, I can suggest you to be in contact with the international student agency of the university, so that they can help you to find the housing. Declaration of value. Sometimes the university, the Italian university, may ask you a declaration regarding your previous studies in the US. You may have two different ways to submit a declaration. The first one is through the consulate. I heartily suggest you to not follow this path, because it's time wasting and money wasting. Why? Because you have to submit your transcript and your diploma. They need to be notarized. So it means that you have to go to the university, so that the registrar has to sign them in front of the notary public, and then you have to submit those documents to the Secretary of State to get the apostille. You also need translation of diploma and transcript, and you have to do it for both your bachelor degree and your high school diploma. While if the university allows you to submit a certificate of comparability, you are able to do it online directly through an association, directly through an European association that is called CEMIA. You have to upload your diploma, your original diploma, and your transcript, and you also have to upload a consent form for release of information. You have to pay 120 euros, and you receive your certificate in 30 working days. Please consider that the declaration of value, for the declaration of value, you don't have to pay consular fees, but you have to pay for the notarization, you have to pay to get the apostille, and probably you will have to pay in order to have the translation of your diploma and your transcript. So I think that the costs are quite the same with the certificate of comparability and with the declaration of value. Now that you have your study visa and that you have all your documents for your previous studies, you are ready to fly. Now let's talk just a couple of minutes about what happens at the end of your journey in Italy. So let's talk about the recognition of a degree earned in Italy. In order to study or work in the US with an Italian degree or a professional qualification, it is necessary to obtain a credential evaluation from a recognized American Evaluation Service agency. You surely need something like that if you are willing to work in the public sector. If you are willing to work in a private sector, probably the firm, the association, the industry is not going to require this credential evaluation. Please consider there is another kind of degree that you can earn, that is for your master. because nowadays we also have dual degrees and double degrees. What does it mean? Dual degrees and double degrees are two institutions that are very similar. It means that you have two different universities, one in Italy and one in the US, that are very similar for teaching typology and qualities. They accept to assign their own educational qualification to a student, so that at the end of your 2 years, you may get a dual degree. It means that you receive two different diplomas, one from the Italian university and the second one from the American university. If you apply for a double degree, it means that you are allowed to spend 1 year in Italy and the second year in the US. And again, you receive two national diplomas, one from the university in Italy and the second one from the university in America. Please consider that in Italy, there are several opportunities of dual and double degrees, also with other European and Asian institutions. So if you are willing to focus on the idea to get a degree that already has a recognition with America, okay, you may have a look at something that relate the Italian universities with the American universities. While if you are open to a worldwide experience, you may have a look to double degrees that allow you to spend 1 year in France, Spain, Portugal, China, Russia, and so on. There are plenty of opportunities to do it. A few highlights for this kind of degree. For instance, in the University of Bologna, give you the opportunities to receive multiple kind of degree programs. For instance, they have a partnership with the Carnegie Mellon University for the Innovation and Organization of Studies and Arts, while the Polytechnic of Milan has a Master of Science in Computer Science and Bioengineering with the University of Illinois at Chicago. They also have Global Engineering Education Exchange with almost 37 universities in the United States. La Sapienza in Rome as well give you the opportunities to apply for dual degree and dual double degree. You just have to have a look and for dual programs at Sapienza University. I know that also the Bocconi University have specific dual programs. They are mainly for bachelor programs in order to receive a dual degree between the Italy and the US, while they have specific program with Shanghai and Hong Kong and France for their master programs. At the end, if you're not willing to go back home, but you are willing to stay in Italy, you may consider the chance to apply for a blue card. What does it mean? Well, if you have a valid work contract or a binding job offer for highly qualified employment with a duration of at least 1 year, you are able to apply for a blue card. How does it last? It lasts for 2 years, and then you may renew it. How does it cost? It costs 100 here, and you have to pay 100 euros, and you have to pay 100 euros more at the moment you are going to renew your blue card. And you receive your blue card you are able to receive a blue card in 90 days. So at the end of your studies, you may spend at least 90 days, over 180 days for as a tourist in Italy, you may spend those 90 days looking for a suitable job. And then if you're willing to stay, you may apply for a blue card. So I think that that's enough. And I'm able to reply your QA, your questions.
Okay, well,
if you have any.
Anna, thank you so much for all of that wonderful information. I have been keeping track of some questions that were in the chat, so I'll begin with those questions. The first thing I wanted to mention is that Anna Zeppieri's slideshow with the links will be available once the talk is added to the Istituto's YouTube channel. So we'll definitely be adding the slideshow, so you guys will have all of that. The next thing I wanted to ask, there are two questions that I received. Could you please talk a little bit about class size in the various disciplines? So just on average, about how many students are in, like, let's say your typical math class, your typical, engineering class. Like, do you have any numbers that you could share? So that was one question.
Well, it depends. It depends on the university. It depends on the subject. So, for instance, I can tell you, when I was studying maths at the university in Italy, and my classes during my last third and fourth year were only with 10, 20 people, and it was the same in physics. But, and I can tell you, if you are looking at the Bocconi universities, I'm referring to classes that are with 20 students usually. If I'm referring to the Motor Vehicle University of Emilia-Romagna, again, I'm referring to classes that are with only 20, 25 students. For Polytechnic of Milan, I may tell you that we may go to 40 students, while for the University of Bologna and for the University of Rome and so on, it depends on the subject. So it may span from 10 people up to 100 students. It depends. It really depends.
And a follow-up question that I had in the chat has to do with, if you begin a degree and the degree is in the English track, yeah, does that then mean that you cannot take classes that are in Italian? So is it possible to be in an English track, but then see coursework that you're interested in and that's only taught in Italian, and then be able to take the Italian classes as well? Or are you sort of locked into the English degree?
So first of all, you have three different kinds of languages, I would say. So only Italian, only English, and a mixture, Italian and English. Second, I can tell you that while you are attending lessons in a university, you are allowed to attend other classes as well during your path. I would say in Italy, we say uditore. So in English, in America, how do you say it? Listener? No, which is the name?
Auditor. You're an auditor.
Okay, auditor. Okay, so as an auditor, you are able to attend Italian classes as well. As an auditor, you are attended to attend English classes as well. I may think that you may have a few exceptions if you are attending something like Bocconi University or the Motor Vehicle University of Emilia-Romagna, because in that case, you are only allowed to follow the specific path that is designated for you. But because we are talking about just small numbers of people allowed to follow that kind of courses, so in that case, you are not allowed to follow the other courses, but you are kindly invited to follow workshops and seminars that are open to every student that is attending that university.
Okay, and here's another question then from chat. This is from a student. She's wondering, so when you're an undergraduate here in the United States, at what point do you recommend that the student begins to research and you know, sort of begin the application process to study in Italy?
Well, if you are well aware of the path that you are looking for, I kindly suggest you to start at the beginning of your last year, so as a senior. At the end of your junior year or slightly at the beginning of your senior year. If you already know what are you willing to study in Italy, while if not, if you don't know exactly which are your opportunities, I may tell you that sometimes, just for fun, you may have a look at the international students pages at the universities in Italy, just to have a look and just to consider their offer.
Okay, and here's a question from a student. She's wondering, you know, I suppose, okay, so I'll just read the question. She says, what most impresses Italian employers? So she wonders, you know, like, is it your grades, your extracurricular activities, your internships? She says, in other words, what should I focus on as a student? I guess if she says in Italy, that will help then with her, you know, impressing Italian employers. So finding a job after that degree that she does in Italy, I guess.
Well, I can tell you that the fact that you are American mother tongue, so you are English mother tongue, this is already a plus for you, because you are going to receive an education, a strong education, both here in the US with your bachelor, and then probably in Italy with the master. You also have the chance to, you also have the chance to know two different languages, the English and the Italian. Usually the big university in Italy allows you to have internships during your master program, so that you are in contact, in touch with industries and firms already while you are studying for your master program. And this is really important, because in this way, the industry, the Italian industry, is able to know you previously, is able to understand how you manage things, which is your mood, and so on. So internships are really important, but I can tell you that if you look at the main important universities in Italy, they already provide you the chance to get an internship during the master program, and this is a plus for you, and this is something really important when you are looking for a job.
Great, great. One student also wants to know, can you please explain a bit more the difference between dual and double degrees?
Yes, sure. Thank you for asking me. So with a dual degree, you spend your two-year master program in one university. That is usually, if you're willing to go to Italy, you spend the 2 years in the university in Italy. But there is a specific agreement with the university worldwide, so that the second university is allowed to give confirmation that those studies are the same that you may had with them as well, so that at the end you have the two diplomas. While in the double degree, you spend 1 year in Italy, in the university in Italy, and the second year in the second university worldwide. And so that you have allowed to follow courses and to do the exams 1 year in Italy and the second year worldwide. At the end, you receive a double degree. So at the end, you receive 2 diplomas as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Now, Clorinda, do you mind maybe talking a little bit about your son's experience? So you wrote a bit about it in the chat box. Would you mind sharing?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So my youngest son, Luca, has been in Milan for 2.5 years. This is the beginning of his 5th semester, doing a master's degree in software engineering at the Politecnico di Milano. And everything that Anna said has been 100, it's exactly the way she described it. I have to say, we have been absolutely thrilled with the quality of the education, the ability for him to move quickly, his adaptation to the exam system. He really liked the fact that he could reject a bad grade and take the exam over, which was a very important thing for some of the very difficult courses in software engineering, because he had been a physics major at UC Santa Barbara, but he had a big learning curve going forward to do the software engineering degree. But it's been, and even in the lockdown, you know, the poor kid has been locked down. But immediately, almost the next day, all the classes were online and the quality was superb. I mean, he was really pleased with the quality, the way they worked on Microsoft Teams, all of his group projects, and then of course the cost. I mean, he's getting an MIT education for like 2,500 euros a year. It's pretty impressive. And so his courses are in English, but he, his Italian has gotten really good. He, of course, we speak Italian at home to some extent, but being the third of my children, the children among themselves would speak in English, but I think he's now better than his brother and his sister. And he has taken free courses at the Politecnico in Italian. So he has actually, I think he's taken up through C1. I can't believe, when I talk to him, I can't believe how good his Italian is. And the other thing that is fantastic, because the price is right, the number of international students and the places they come from, it's much more diverse than you get here. He has so many friends, truly from all over the world, because it's not an outrageously expensive program. He lived in one of the dorms for his first year, super positive experience, made a lot of friends. And he's now doing his thesis, and he got a paid internship with a really good company in Milan. And I just talked to him a few hours ago, and he's really happy about it. So we have been absolutely thrilled. I don't think he could have gotten a better education, I'm pretty sure, anywhere. And for that cost, it's really been even in the pandemic, it's been an absolutely fantastic experience for him. And I actually think he will stay and try to work there for a while. Of course, he's also an Italian citizen. He has dual citizenship. That helps. But I would recommend, if you're thinking of doing this, to start the paperwork very early. So he had to take it, but there are mechanisms that even I didn't know, being a university professor. For example, he had to take his CSULB, his UCSB diploma, mail it back to we FedExed it to UCSB, but they notarized it. I couldn't believe it. There are all these services, but our university, he had taken 6 courses through Open University at Cal State Long Beach in the year before he went in software engineering at the BA level, because he didn't have a background. But they also immediately notarized all of his transcripts. So I was really impressed with the universities in the States it was just a question of doing it in a timely fashion, and then going to the consulate, and the consulate, things worked out very smoothly once we had the right documents, and then he went by himself and got the apostille. So it's just a question, though, of having the time and going through the steps one by one. He did not have to submit translations of his transcripts at the Politecnico. They took transcripts in English, Spanish, German, and French.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. So I think I've summarized all the questions in the chat box. Are there any students who just want to ask Anna some questions? Anybody? This would be your opportunity. Otherwise, we can close up. I can't see anybody indicating they have a question. Jessica, no questions. No questions, you guys? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Anna. We look forward to get this information up for everybody as soon as we possibly can. Jessica, did you have a question?
So if we decide to go through the application process, I'm a junior, so this would be like in my near future. Could we refer to you guys in the Italian Institute in case we have any questions about all the visas and just all the paperwork that was just talked about furthermore beyond this?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I kindly suggest you to look at the consular website in Los Angeles, because there you find all the info step by step in order to get your study visa. It's not so difficult, because I can tell you that hundreds of students every year go to the consulate in Los Angeles or to the consulate in San Francisco asking for the study visa. So don't be scared. You are scared now because you don't know how to. But if you go to the consular website in Los Angeles and you look for study visa, you find all the info in English. And anyway, if you encounter any difficulties, we are here to help. No problem at all.
Yeah, I just want to add something, Anna, if I may, regarding what this consular procedure. One is for the visa. Of course, you will find all the information in the consulate website. If you have some problem, of course, we at the institutes are available for help. But one important thing about the Dichiarazione di Valore, because I had a personal experience with that too, because my son, he enrolled at the Politecnico di Torino this year, and like the CMEA is a tool, it is an extremely efficient tool. In 2 days, 3 days time, he uploaded his high school diploma, the APs, because of course he enrolled after the high school, so he needs 3 APs to get enrolled at Italian universities. And in maybe 2 days, they gave me the paper. And no, they didn't give me the paper. They sent it directly to the university in Italy. Yeah. So it was marvelous, a fantastic tool. So if you don't want to waste your time with the Dichiarazione di Valore, it may be very time consuming, you please go through it. It's 160, I think it's a little bit more than.
Okay, so it was the previous price. No, pardon. It's 150 because you paid for to rush, for the rush.
Okay, maybe. Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Because
it's really worth it. It's really worth it. So this is my suggestion here. Okay.
Anna, there is one last question in the chat box, and then I think we'll stop after this. But the student is wondering, do you think that COVID will, affect any of this? Will it slow down admission of incoming international students in 2021?
Well, I can tell you that nowadays students can apply for a study visa. Okay, no problem at all. Also, I can tell you that several universities are attending online courses as well during this period, so that if the students are scared to go to the university in person and are willing to attend courses here during these months, they are allowed to. Surely the number of students, of foreign students, of international students that applied this year to go to the Italian university, but to go abroad, okay, is less than the usual. Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't impact on the quality of the university. On the other side, if you have less students, I would say there is less competition and it's easier to get in. Okay, so.
All right, well, thank you again so very much. So remember, you guys, if there are any students who want to meet with the COZY reps, that Zoom link is in there. And then for all of us collaborators, I'm going to close this meeting and then just open up the other meeting. We won't take too long. We just want to touch on some of those things that we wanted to talk a little bit about. All right, so thank you so much, Anna. Grazie mille, grazie.
Pleasure.
Ciao, buona serata.
Grazie.
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 Thank you.